Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking, coming to another video review. This video review I think is actually going to be kind of quick because the game I'm going to show you is relatively easy to play, but it's a lot of fun as well. This is a game that I kind of just picked up. I threw it in a larger board game order just because it interested me because of the fact that the main component and the main mechanic of the game is dice, and it's called Las Vegas. It's by Rudiger Dorn. You're probably familiar with him as a designer, and it is a game thematically that each person is a gambler, and you're rolling a bunch of dice, and you're just trying to earn the most money possible over the course of 4 rounds. This is a game I played a lot of at my little local personal gaming convention that I hold about twice a year. I have people come in from out of town and from in town, and we play a bunch of board games over the process of a couple of days. And we had a lot of fun this year. We played a ton of games. We actually had an event center. Normally I have this at my house, and my wife kindly suggested that I look into another venue for it. And so I recently started having it at my local game store, which has a large gaming area. And they were very hospitable, and they had an awesome area for me to do this in. And so we played this. And this was a game that we played a lot of in between some of the larger games while we waited for people, you know, say to get done with their X-Wings Minis game, so we could play a game of Arkham Horror, or so we could play a game of we played a few games of well, God, there's a lot of games of Resistance going on, but we played a few games of Couriers, I believe, and then there was also a rather large and boisterous game of Bora Bora as well. But anyway, regardless, this is a game. It's a bunch of dice, and you're gambling, and it's a lot of fun. I'm going to show you how to play, and this is not by any means a taxing game, but it definitely has some interesting decisions, and it definitely has a lot of luck and chaos going on. So maybe that's something you'll like. But let me show you how to play, and then I'll tell you what I think. All right, here we go. Alright, this is the entirety of the components for Las Vegas. You do get this little card that determines the first player marker. And it's the same thing as it's on the cover here. And for those of you who grew up with the Atari 2600, doesn't this look like an Atari 2600 cartridge cover? I mean, totally. I mean, it's just like, so, but anyway. Alright, so, oh, I'm sorry, the components also are these cool, they could have gone with like paper money, but this is cards, so actually they probably couldn't for what these do. You shuffle up this big deck of cards. It's going to have a bunch of money on it. Each person gets dice for their color. You will not get a Viking, however. And you'll notice each one of these casinos has a die marker on it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to begin a round, just pick a person to shuffle up these cards and deal them out. And you're going to place these cards at the base of these casinos, and each of them has to have at least 50,000 in money. So like we'll go here, and here's one that's 80,000, so we'll put that right there. There's another 80,000. And here's one that's 40,000, so that's not enough, so we got to put another one down. And so then so that's got a 40 and a 30. Now here's a 60. Here's another one with 40. Put another one down. Here's another 40, and here's a 60. Now I should mention that these can go all the way down to 10,000. They also, the highest denomination is a 90,000, like that, and they do go all the way down to 10,000. So depending on the luck of the draw, you can have more than 2, or you could have 3 or 4, or even if you got a bunch of 10,000s, I suppose you could get 5, but I've never seen that. So anyway, now you're ready to go. Whoever the first player is, the game does revolve whoever the first player is. Which is really weird for me, because if you play with 5 people, the game only lasts 4 rounds. And so normally games, it seems like to me that the games are always like everybody gets to, when you play, everybody has like a turn to be the first player or whatever. But in a 5-player game, whoever is the last player in the first round doesn't ever get to be the first player. So I mean, I guess technically you could play another round if you wanted, but I found that odd. Anyway, so what happens is really simply if it's your turn, you roll a bunch of dice, and I'm just going to roll these easily here so I don't make a bunch of mess. And look at this, I got a bunch of 6s, and I got a couple of 3s, I got a 4, and I got a 2. So I can look up and down the row, and I get to take one numeric of the die roll, and I get to place those on one of the casinos. Now the goal of the game is that you want to, at the end of all the rounds, after everybody has placed all their dice, you want to have the most dice on a casino, because without tying anybody, because that means that you get the highest denomination bill that's on a location. So green sees the 60,000, he has a 2, he's going to go ahead and he's going to put his 2 there, and then he takes back his dice, and that's his turn. And so now blue will go, and I'll just roll some dice, and I got a bunch of 2s, and I got a 1, but here he got a bunch of 2s, so he's going to go ahead and place those on there. Now green's like, screw you 2, you just took, now that die I just put there is worthless. But, ha ha ha, blue says, I'm going to get that 80,000, and then red's going to go, or black's going to go, he's got a couple of 1s, and the 80,000 is over there, so he's going to put those over there, and that's that. Now red will go. I'm not going to go through each and every roll for this, but geez, I should be rolling a D&D character. That's 5 6s. Well, that's a 60,000 there. He didn't get a 1 or a 2, so he can't get a hold of any of those. But he probably doesn't want to use up 5 of his dice for 60,000. So he wants to probably use one like the 3, 4, 5 on something. Well, he got 1 4, and that's 60,000. That's probably a good idea. So we'll just leave the 4 right there. And we'll go like that. And then finally the last player will go, and they'll roll. They got a bunch of 1s. They'll be worth 80,000 if they take that. And that's the route they're going to go. They're going to say, well, I'm going to grunt big or go home, and I'm going to put all 4 of those on there, and hopefully nobody will tie me, and I'll be able to get the 80,000. Now, so you can see how this goes, and then now green will go, and they roll all their dice again, so he takes up his dice, and he rolls, and he sees he got a couple of 6s, and that's pretty good, so we'll put those over there for that 60,000. And like I said, I'm not going to go through every single roll, but you can see how this progresses. And eventually, I'm just going to place some dice down here. Please do not get upset with me if I'm not putting them on the exact, optimal locations or whatever. But the interesting thing is that when you get down to, like, 1 die, you end up having to place it wherever you roll the die. Or I've had situations where, because I've rolled like doubles when I have 2 dice left, you just have to place it in that spot. And which stinks, because, maybe that spot was like worthless for you, so it just, didn't do you any good to place it there. And so, if you have a situation where if you just you get forced to place a die, like say like at the end this person's forced to place a 1 there, well, that's not doing him any good, because he's not going to gain anything by it. But because it was his final die, the choice was pretty much made for them. So here, I'm just gonna, I apologize for this, I just want to ram through this real quickly, and so I can show you how you divvy up the money. And alright, so there we go. So now I'll put one last green 5 here. Actually, I want to leave that one like that, just so I can show you something neat. Let's go ahead and just put that there. Alright, so you look at each one, and so you count up the dice. So there's 4 white dice there, so you just take that, and white would get that one. Now here you have 4 blues, according to that, and we take that one. These are pretty simple. Here you have red has 4 3s, and black has 4 3s. So red gets the 40,000, and then black will get this one, because they had the second most dice in that location. Now here's an interesting situation, because we have people that tied. These 2 people, since they tied, they get nothing. But then you see the other 3 people on here also tied. So this 60,000, nobody gets it. It just goes back to the bank. So nobody gets that because everybody tied on that particular location. Now, if it had been like that, green would have gotten it, because these would have tied and canceled each other out, and the next person in line would get it. That's what's going to happen here. Both green, and blue have have tied, and black hasn't. So black's going to get one for these 40,000, and this one nobody gets because nobody qualifies for it. And finally, we have here green gets this one. So you hand out the money, and you then, after you've handed out the money, you will then return all the dice to each person. You deal out a bunch more of these cards to each one of those casinos, and you do another round. You do that 4 times, and whoever's got the most money wins the game. You'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who's going to have analysis paralysis in this game. I mean, I do have one buddy, but he has AP in everything, usually because the decision's pretty straightforward, or the decision's made for you. The game is fast, it is quick, and it's, its simplicity is where the fun lies. But let me tell you exactly what I think, and then I'm going to tell you maybe, hopefully, whether or not this game would be a good fit for you and your style of games that you like, and the style of games that your group likes. All right, here we go. Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. Okay, that's a horrible rendition. Viva Las Vegas. Alright, sorry about that. Hopefully some of you skipped past that little rendition of that famous song. Alright, so there you go. That's how you play Viva Las Vegas. Or, actually, Las Vegas. And, alright, so it's not incredibly taxing on your brain. It isn't going to be incredibly difficult to play. And I think that's where the simplicity and charm of the game lies. You just roll a big giant handful of dice and you try to get the most money possible. The actual fun of the game comes in the last stages of the round, where you're down to, instead of having a big handful of dice, you're down to maybe 2 or 3, and there's certain numbers you have to hit in order to earn the cash that's at those different casinos. And so, like, there's a lot of, this is, you don't do anything when it's your turn, but there's a lot of, like, watching what everybody else is getting, and you're like, oh, don't get any 3s, And it's always fun to kind of look at the board and just saying, okay, well, if I roll a 2, I'm going to bone myself because I'm going to add another die, and I'm going to tie somebody, and then I'm not going to get cards. But if I roll a 3, I'll bone somebody else, which is good. And if I get a 6, I'll earn money. Okay, here we go. Damn it! And things like that. So that's where the fun of the game comes in, and that's where it gets enjoyable. By no means is this a difficult game. My daughter, Rylan, plays it, and she's 5. So even though the game does say, what does it say here? I don't even know where the recommendations are age. Here we go. 2 to 5 players age 8 or higher. So I guess technically they kind of pinpointed this for a younger crowd anyway. But like I said, my daughter is 5 and she loves it. It does say the game lasts 30 minutes. No, there's no way this game lasts 30 minutes after you've played it a few times. I mean, it's just play some. So we were able to burn through games of this in 10 to 15 minutes. And it's like, I'll say this, it is not a good 2-player game, and the more players you have, the more fun it is, because of the fact that there's all those different dice out there and all those different combinations, and so that's where the game gets fun, because it's a directly confrontational game, and you want to be going up against each other. I know they say you're supposed to take the money and like take it and like put it face down so nobody knows how much you get, but that just inspires people to sit there and memorize what each person got. Okay, you got 160,000, you have 190,000. There's a couple people that play the game like that, and I was just like, you suck. I mean, this game isn't supposed to be even about winning. It's just supposed to be about having a good time and clattering the dice on the table. And so I instituted a home rule where I said everybody's got to put all their money out in front of them. So if you want to, you can look over and you can just say, okay, he's got 250,000. I need to beat that guy over here if I want a shot to win. So there you go. That's just me, though. Like I said, it's probably not a great 2-player game just because you need to have lots of people going after the same stuff to make it nice and confrontational. I mean, it's it's awesome with 5. And this is a great filler. This is a great game to play when you're waiting for like 2 people to get done playing something. So because you have a big like 6-player game that you're waiting for them. So there's like 3 or 4 of you that just want to like play something quick while you're waiting. That's what this game is for. And I probably played this game more than anything at my little convention. And I had a blast playing it because I didn't expect it to be anything that it isn't. And that is chaotic, pure luck, and with a few cool decisions along the way, and just lots of table talk, lots of trash talking, lots of it's like no 6, things like that. So yeah, there you go. But then again, this is a game that I knew was gonna be my wheelhouse because it's got a bunch of dice, and if you watch these videos, you know I'm a big fan of dice. So. Alright, well there you go. That's my review of Las Vegas. If you have any questions or concerns or ideas, by all means go ahead and post them and I will answer them to the best of my ability. And you know what? I will say this, if you're a person who buys their board games online, I think this one's like 20 bucks or just right around $20 online. So this is like one of those perfect games when there's like a couple other things you have and you're like right underneath that threshold for free shipping. This is a perfect game to add just for that purpose. So, alright. Well, thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch another one of my videos. And until next time, this was Undead Viking, and this was Las Vegas. Alright. Bye-bye.